Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to today's live interview. This is me Fatima Businesswali and today we are honored to have Svitlana Bulkina with us, an international English language teacher trainer with extensive experience. She has worked across different countries and institutions, supporting teachers in growing their skills, confidence, and professional impact. In today's session, we will talk about what truly it makes become powerful English teachers and how educators can grow internationally and how mindset and powerful professional development play a key role in teaching success. Shivitlana, thank you so much for being with us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Now,
me, Fatima.
okay, Shivitlana, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay. Shavitlana, now I would love to invite you to introduce yourself with our audience.
Yeah, so I think you've done an excellent job introducing me. Basically, whenever I'm asked to introduce myself, I say that I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching for over 20 years now. And also, I'm a teacher trainer, and I've been training teachers for 15 years now. And it makes me feel old every time I say that. That's pretty much it. And I love teaching. I feel that teaching is my calling, and that's probably why I've been doing it for quite a while now.
Okay. Now, can you share your English teacher training journey and how it get started and how it get interested you?
Well, basically, as I mentioned in my previous interviews, initially I wasn't interested in teaching much. I just, when I was, like just after graduating university, I saw teaching as one of the opportunities to make some money and travel the world. But when I did my CELTA, and after my CELTA, that's when I really started enjoying teaching, seeing my learners progress, and taking it very seriously. And basically, my real teaching journey started with getting a CELTA certificate.
Okay, that's great. So, my next question is, you have worked across different countries and institutions, and how has international exposure shaped you as a teacher trainer?
Well, I love traveling, and that's also my another calling that I have. And basically, traveling and working and teaching and training in different countries made me even more aware of how different we all are, and that we're all different and we're all unique and we all have our different needs and we all learn and intake information at different pace. So that I'd say that this whole traveling experience and working internationally made me humble and appreciative of diversity, and having more respect and understanding of different cultures, religions, backgrounds, and things like that that we always need to take into consideration when we work with people.
Okay, that's really amazing. So, my next question is, what does it truly mean to be a powerful English teacher in today's global world?
That's a very deep question. When I saw your post on Facebook, I'm like, that's a good question. I don't really know what it means, because I think it depends on the teacher. It depends on the learners and the teaching context. But for me, I call myself a decent teacher, or what you call a powerful teacher is the teacher that can make a change, that can help students. For example, there is nothing more inspiring and rewarding that get an email from your students seeing that they've passed an exam, or they entered university, or they got a job they wanted to get, and you feel like you're part of this this experience. So that means being effective in the classroom for me. And for that we need to be open-minded. We need to notice what's happening in class, what's happening with our learners, and we need to address their needs. So I feel like there is lots of talking, especially these days. You go online, everyone is an expert in teaching, training, anything, right? But I think it's very important for us teachers and educators to be very honest with ourselves. So when I'm one to one and I'm physically I don't know, alone online with my learner, I always ask myself, am I doing enough? Am I addressing my learner's needs? Am I making this change? Am I really helping them? Because especially, there are different contexts we can teach in, but I work a lot with teachers who teach online and teach one-to-one. So there is this subtle line between a lesson actually teaching and addressing learners needs versus having a conversation, having a lovely chat. So I think that's very important. I hope I've addressed your question somehow.
Okay, that's really amazing and really interesting your answers. So, my next question is, for your example, what are the most common challenges English teachers face today?
Uh, well, there are lots of like the one of the challenges that everyone talks about is AI, right? Because some teachers look at it as our competitor, others find it as a very powerful tool in the classroom. Also, probably depending on where teachers work, it's a competition, and everyone needs to find their like unique. Teaching style and approach to learners. And then quite often, when teachers, I mean, we can divide teachers into different categories, but I feel like newly trained teachers, those who are new, and I remember myself, and I was very lucky in that sense. When someone just finishes their CELTA, or I don't know, master's degree in teaching or any qualification, and then they start teaching quite often, they don't get ongoing support in the classroom. So they're just on their own, and it's very important to make sure that you get like mentor or someone who can kind of give you feedback, ongoing feedback, who you can go to when you have questions. In that sense, because these days I mostly teach online, so I really miss being in a physical classroom, and I also miss that amazing atmosphere in the staff room, after the lessons, when all teachers come together, and then, they're like, you won't believe what happened in my lesson. In my lesson, there is lots of exchange and like peer learning and peer support and peer training. So that's one of the challenges. While for the experienced teachers, I see what they do. They sometimes end up teaching the same lesson over and over again for 10, 20 years, and then also, the excitement is not there, and the fun is not there. So I think it's very important for any teacher at any stage in their career to, for example, what I do is once in a while I check in with myself and ask myself, how am I doing in the lessons? Am I still enjoying them? Am I still effective? Do I still notice things that are important to notice in the classroom and things like that?
Okay, that's really amazing. So, my next question is, you are a globally recognized Celta and Delta trainer. How do the certifications help teachers and professionally?
Well, basically, CELTA, both certifications that, CELTA is both CELTA and Delta. These are Cambridge qualifications, right? CELTA is a pre-service course, and it is very good for teachers who are new to teaching, right? Because it's a very practical and reputable certification, and it's like the first step. That's when, as I mentioned before, I started taking teaching seriously. And then Delta is a diploma qualification, so that's something that I decided to pursue after my CELTA, when I realized that, okay, I'm going to be taking this very seriously, and I wanted to make my profession, and I wanted to make it a career. Well, in terms of benefits, first of all, you get a very structured um training by qualified trainers from authorized by Cambridge, and then you one of the benefits is that most reputable schools recognize these qualifications, so you get lots of benefits, like, hopefully a decent salary, also ongoing professional development, and other things. So for those who want to take teaching seriously and not just have a couple of conversation or speaking classes online, I think that's the right way to start and continue in terms of professional development and teaching.
Okay. So my next question is, what skills do you believe every English teachers and must beyond language knowledge?
Well, that's a tricky one. I mean, there are, I would divide skills into like subjective and objective. So there are criteria, and there are things like tools and things that we need to know how to do, techniques, frameworks, and things like that. So that's one thing. But in terms of like personal qualities, I feel that empathy is very important. And also, if you want to teach, you really need to enjoy working with people, because some people just don't enjoy that much, and it's fine. But especially for those teachers who teach full time, like, I can't imagine teaching full time and not enjoying it. It's just like I can't imagine wasting my day or my life or my time like that. So that's very important. But in terms of uh, techniques and tools, again, things like important things like classroom management, being able to monitor your learners, assess them properly, provide feedback, ongoing support, and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, you have held leadership roles such as director of studies and director at multiple institutions. How important is leadership in teaching?
Well, I think it's very important, because we are, in a way, we're like, as a teacher, what I love about teaching, one of the things is that we adopt multiple roles, right? We are teachers, we're facilitators, we're administrators, sometimes we're psychologists, sometimes we're friends, which is something I don't really support, because there is this subtle line between being a friend and being a teacher. Anyway, being someone your learners look up to is very important, and also setting a good example. So one of the things that I do as a teacher, I share with my learners and my teachers, my trainees, my learning experience, because in the first place, I'm also a language learner. So, for example, now I'm learning Spanish. So, in my class, I would say, "Oh, yesterday it was so difficult for me in my Spanish class. I couldn't remember so many words." And then my students think, "All right, she's also, she's a human, and she has the same, maybe challenges that I have in the classroom, but she still shares that experience." But being in that sense, having that leadership is just having this authority in a good way, like. And also, quite often we need to understand that students these days, they come to us because, again, as I mentioned before, they want to take an exam, they want to get a better job, stakes are high, it's expensive and things like that. So we really need to make sure that we provide accurate information. We really need to make sure that we're consistent with what we say and what we do, and that also requires lots of skills.
Okay, that's really amazing. So my next question is, many teachers feel confident in grammar but struggle with classroom pressure, with classroom presence. How can teachers build confidence and authority in classroom?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because, like, I feel like everyone, most teachers I've worked with, they love grammar, but not necessarily. There are teachers who are more into lexical approach, and those who think that skills are more important than systems, things like grammar or lexis. But in terms of boosting our confidence, I think it's very important. We learn by doing. So I think that practice makes perfect. So actually being in the classroom and then reflecting, reflecting on your lessons. And sometimes, sometimes I have this experience when I deliver a bad lesson. My students seem fine, and we practice technically, but then I do make sure that I find time, at least 5-10 minutes after the lesson. It needs to happen right away, to sit down and reflect, and find those things that didn't go well, and maybe find the reasons why, and hopefully get some think of some possible solutions and things to anticipate in the future. So reflection is very important, and then inviting your peers and your colleagues to do peer observation, doing professional development courses, then staying in the community, doing things like we're doing now, participating in some events, attending conferences. That really helps boost confidence, learn new things, and yeah. And also, one of my favorite ones, I really encourage my teachers to record their lessons. I do it. It's a very painful process, but it really benefits everyone. So, for example, even with this interview, I'm not gonna watch it today, but in a couple of days I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna take some notes, and then I'm gonna think, all right, next time I do something similar. I'm also gonna be constructive and positive. So I'm gonna say things like, I'm gonna give myself feedback, and I'm gonna say, okay, this one really well, but the next time you do this, make sure maybe you want to change this or avoid doing that. So that's the
Yeah,
strategy.
yeah, that's amazing. Um, uh, my next question is, what advice would you give to teachers who want to English internationally?
Well, basically, a couple, I don't know, a couple of things. So first of all, um, you want to be qualified to be able to
Yeah.
teach internationally, and CELTA is one of the things that are great in that sense. And then also, for non-native speakers, I'd say that it's a good idea to take a proficiency exam, because sometimes students also ask, oh, okay, how many levels are there in the English language, and what's your level? So that's also important. And for schools as well, you can always provide your certificate. And then also being constantly engaged and involved in the teaching community, and self-development, professional development. Mm.
Okay, great. So, my next question is, how can teachers continuously improve themselves without feeling overwhelmed?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I can relate to that experience. When I just started teaching, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything, and there is so much to know. So I think, in that sense, like, one thinking that we can't address everything at one go, right? This is unrealistic. So when I have some areas for development, I focus on one thing at a time, and I break my tasks, or my action points, or my personal aims into small, manageable, achievable goals. All right. So instead of going like, okay, I'm gonna stop talking too much in the lesson, I'm gonna monitor more, I'm gonna focus on pronunciation more. What I do is, sometimes I have these things. Okay, this week I'm making sure that I focus on pronunciation, and I highlight features of connected speech in each lesson I teach, and I focus on that one thing, and then I check if I've been consistent. So one thing at a time. That's that's my final word.
Okay, that's great. So, in your opinion, how has English language teaching evolved over the last decade?
Well, yeah, it's evolved a great deal, because I mean, well, I remember, I feel like I come from the times when, I mean, even having a physical course book was a big deal. Making a copy of a page, right? These days we have lots of digital resources. There are lots of free online resources, amazing resources for teachers, and everything is more accessible, and I think that on one hand this is great, but on the other hand, I feel like we started taking it for granted, and we're like, oh, I'm just gonna look something up before the lesson. So I think it's changed a lot, but I think that our responsibilities haven't changed much in terms of what we still need to deliver, and we still need to make sure that students make progress and achieve their goals.
Okay, great. What role does mindset play in becoming an effective and impactful teacher?
What rule?
Yes, what
Yeah.
role does mindset play in becoming an effective
What
and
role?
impactful teacher?
Well, I think it's it plays a great role in not only in effective teaching, but in life. Or it's just having the right attitude, being genuinely excited about things you do, and um, you know, having again empathy and being able to relate to your learners' experiences. So it plays a great role. Mm.
Great. Uh, if a teacher feels stuck in their career, what practical step would you suggest to move forward?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on what you mean by feeling stuck. But sometimes there are multiple reasons for feeling stuck. So I've had lots of different experiences with teachers when someone would approach me and say, "Oh, I feel, exhausted." So maybe someone just needs to rest. Maybe someone needs to revisit their schedule and workload because we cannot. And this is something I back in the day struggled from. I wasn't able to say no because I was very excited. And I wanted to teach more and I wanted to help, and then I wanted to make more money. And as a result, I would end up having, burnout and feeling exhausted. So taking care, I'm stating the obvious, but basically taking care of your physical health, of your mental health, of your spiritual health, that's very important. So sometimes just pausing and taking a week off, of course, if it's possible, or kind of anticipating, thinking, all right, for example, I know that at the end of May my students will be taking this exam, module 1, so they'll need more support from me. So at the beginning of May I'm going to take a week off, so I have that, energy to support them towards the end of the month, things like that. Yeah. And then if it's like someone feels, okay, I'm stuck, I don't know how to teach grammar, and I've been struggling with it for quite a while now, then all right, step number 1, look up a course, grammar awareness course, or some. There are lots of free resources on the Cambridge website, or register at a teacher training center for a workshop, or things like that. But the most important is to act on it, not to just sit and wait. If someone starts feeling uncomfortable in the classroom, they need to address it immediately. Again, one of the main reasons for that is because we work with people. Yeah. And sometimes, and I do need to mention that, especially since today's it's been 4 years since the full-scale war started in Ukraine, and I'm from Ukraine. Sometimes when we teach refugees, we teach people with forced displacement and things like that. So sometimes I don't feel like teaching, and it's very difficult. So then I have special conditions and agreements with my learners, and I have to cancel because I cannot come into the classroom when I cannot deliver, when I cannot address my learners' needs, when I cannot be positive and inspiring. So there are lots of things with everything that's happening in the world, and I hope that it's gonna end soon and we're gonna get back to a more peaceful situation in the world. I want to be optimistic, but there are lots of factors that we need to take into consideration.
Okay, great. Finally, what's your last message would you like to share with English teachers who want to grow, inspire, and make the real impact?
Yeah, so I have like the phrase that I use a lot that I came up with a while ago. I feel that teaching is sharing, and I keep saying that, and also my website says the same. So if you want to teach, you need to be ready to share, and by sharing I mean sharing your knowledge, sharing information with your colleagues, uh, sharing your questions, being genuine, being comfortable saying that you don't know something, and being willing to find out and then share again. And also just being a human, a decent human who can, just wake up in the morning, wash their face, look into the mirror and say like, okay, let's go and deliver another great lesson today.
Okay, that's really amazing and really interesting your last message. So, Shivitlana, thank you so much for your time, your insights, and the beautiful energy and brought into today's conversation. It truly means a lot to us, and I really enjoyed your podcast, and I learned so much things. Thank you so much. To everyone who joined us live, thank you from the heart for being here and spending your time with us. I
Yeah.
hope today's discussion inspired you and give you some time valuable to take forward in your teaching journey. Thank you so much once again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in next live session. Take care and goodbye.
Thank, thank you, Fatima. Thank you for great questions. And if teachers have questions about Salto, Delta, or any other questions that they might have, they can comment right under this video because it's going to be on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for giving me
Bye.
your precious time. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.